Next up is Alec Lee, who is the founder and former director of Aim High, a multi-year summer enrichment program for 6th through 9th graders. Alec?
Before I introduce this amazing young person, I guess I just want to acknowledge something that you probably already know, and that is in this very fragile and challenging moment that we're living in, if you're aching for hope and inspiration, you have definitely come to the right place. And the teachers that we're honoring tonight obviously are just incredibly impactful and inspiring, but these student nominators who took it upon themselves to nominate former teachers, in my mind, they're about hope and possibility in the future. And by the way, if they're the future, we actually may be okay. So it's really a pleasure to introduce Mika Mullikin, who is a sophomore at UC Santa Barbara. She is majoring in, wait for it, biochemistry and biopsychology. So, okay. Close enough, anyway. So, and education, too. And she is going to talk about a beloved teacher, Mandi de Witte, who was a game changer for her. So let's please welcome Mika.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? Okay. It is such an honor for me to stand here today to talk about one of my teachers who's not only just impacted my life, but the lives of various students. Coming from a small high school, there's a pretty high chance that if you went to Carp High, you had Mrs. de Witte, or at least knew about her, since she honestly was one of the most involved teachers there. Actually, I knew about her before I even got to the high school, which goes to show how much of an impact she has on students. When I heard about this award through another former teacher of mine, I was thrilled and knew that Mrs. de Witte would be the perfect teacher to nominate for this honor. Mrs. de Witte holds all the traits that above and beyond values. She constantly goes out of her way to help students and never fails to academically prepare her students for higher education and beyond. If I stated everything that Mrs. de Witte does that makes her an amazing teacher, I'd definitely exceed that 3-minute time limit I have, and I think I will. That being said, let me tell you a little bit about Mrs. de Witte as a teacher, because she truly is one that you'd never forget. Mrs. de Witte loves what she does, and it shows. She was one of the most enthusiastic teachers that I have ever had, always making class fun and engaging. Whether science was your favorite subject or not, I've heard from many peers that biology with her was their favorite class, simply because of how well she taught it. Along with her class being super fun, she always made sure you came out of it learning something new. In fact, I would say that Mrs. de Witte quite literally changed and continues changing the trajectory of my life. She helped me discover my passion for biology and biochemistry, which is what I currently study in at UCSB, also Mrs. de Witte's alma mater. Go Gauchos! Since I'm taking my first UCSB biology class right now, I've been thinking about Mrs. de Witte a lot as I go through a lot of my lectures. There have been so many times where we call mnemonics she told us in AP Bio, which for me was 3 years ago. I even recalled some of these mnemonics during my first midterm exam for this class. I've touched on the impact that Mrs. de Witte has in the classroom briefly, but I haven't yet touched on her as a person and what an honor it is if you get to know her. As I stated before, Mrs. de Witte is incredibly involved on campus as the girls' head water polo coach, the Gender and Sexuality Alliance Club advisor, and head of the science department. Her hard work and dedication don't stop in the classroom. In fact, that's just where it all begins. During lunch, Mrs. de Witte leaves her door open for any students who need a place to eat, a safe space, if you will. There have been countless times where my friends and I would eat lunch in her class, and during these times, we've seen so many other, both familiar and unfamiliar faces, going to show just how many people felt comfortable and safe inside her classroom, even during non-instructional hours. After school, Mrs. de Witte can be found at many other sports events and after-school activities, which really just goes to show how supportive of a teacher she is. Mrs. de Witte is a familiar face to many, and you can always count on her to show up for her students, even on her own time. I want to touch on the impact that Mrs. de Witte leaves on students beyond once they leave high school. On the day of my graduation, Mrs. de Witte came to me and told me that if I ever needed anything or had any questions about biology, college life, or UCSB, that I should never hesitate to contact her. I've taken her up on that several times, maybe too many, asking questions about move-in, textbooks, and so many other things. When I first moved into my dorm last year, I received a message from Mrs. de Witte that said, "Happy move-in day." At that moment, I don't think she realized how much that text meant to me, since I was having a rough transition to dorm life, but that text kept me grounded, knowing that she cared. We later ended up figuring out that I was actually in her old college dorm room, which is a funny story I like to tell. A more recent academic impact that Mrs. de Witte left on my life is her inspiring me to pursue a STEM education minor. This past summer, I was on the fence about either pursuing teaching or research post-grad, and although I'm still not 100% sure what path I'll take, Mrs. de Witte inspired me to try both out to find out what I like. She told me about the STEM education minor offered at UCSB and encouraged me to take a class from it to see if I might like it. Taking an education class was one of the best decisions I've made this fall, as it's opened so many new doors and opportunities for me, as well as learning experiences. The class I'm in currently requires me to be placed in high school and act as a teacher's assistant. While I'm working with students, I try to channel my inner Mrs. de Witte and be someone who is knowledgeable, enthusiastic, and kind-hearted. As you can see, I've gotten to know Mrs. de Witte for quite some time now, taking her honors biology class as a freshman, AP biology as a junior, and interning for the science department under her instruction as a senior. Through these years, I've been fortunate enough to witness Mrs. de Witte's impact on students directly, which truly is a privilege. I want to stand here today and express my gratitude for Mrs. de Witte and say I am so proud of her and all that she's done. I take pride in having her as a former teacher, and I'm excited to see how many other students' lives she touches. Thank you.
Wow, Mika, thank you so much. That was such a... I'm going to start crying again, but thank you so much. And coincidentally, my college roommate, who I shared that dorm room with, is also here celebrating tonight. So it's all coming full circle. But I am so honored to stand before you this evening to accept this prestigious award. I'd like to begin by thanking the Above and Beyond organization for hosting such an amazing celebration of the collective accomplishments of the incredible educators in this room. I am humbled to represent your organization as an awardee this year. Although I found my way to this profession through my love of biology, when I reflect on my 15 years of teaching, what stands out most to me are not the lessons or labs or even the long hours like Mika described. It's my students. This award is so special because it's from them. My students are the reason I love my job. They make me laugh every single day and remind me that teaching isn't about perfection, it's about human connection. When I first began teaching, I thought I had to be perfect. Perfect lessons, perfect labs, perfect everything. I was always stressed. But my students have taught me that that's not what they need. They need a real teacher, not a perfect one. They need an authentic, real human being who sees them and is in front of them. Someone who shows up, makes learning real, makes it fun, cares deeply, and believes in them. They've taught me that it's okay to be human and to make mistakes and to fall down literally in front of them and to keep growing alongside them. I'm incredibly lucky to work at my small school in Carpinteria, where we only have about 600 students, and yes, that's a high school. Even though it means I have way more responsibilities, it also means I get more opportunities to get to know my students in different spaces and over all 4 years. And just like Mika described, I get to see them as silly and unsure freshmen in biology. In Mika's case, unfortunately, that was on Zoom. And I thank Mika all the time. She was one of the only faces, camera on, always nodding along and smiling. We all know how important that we all had a Mika, right? They actually had the camera on. And then I get to see them again in AP Bio as they mature into responsible college-bound students, or even as interns in my lab. They share heartbreaking stories with me during my weekly GSA lunch meetings, and sometimes I even play alongside them in the pool as the water polo coach. They laugh at me as I start talking about lactic acid fermentation as we do a tread set together. Forming such strong bonds with these incredible young humans is truly special. But of course, it takes a team, and I wouldn't be here without my science department. I'm fortunate to work with an incredible team, and when I say team, I mean there's 3 of us, who are not just colleagues, but true friends. Sometimes we collaborate, sometimes we vent, and way more often than sometimes we pull pranks on each other. But through our teamwork, we've built something special together at Carp High. Our little science department has increased not only the number of students taking science for all 4 years, but also the overall number of students, particularly girls and students of color, pursuing STEM majors and career, including Mika. And nothing fills me with more joy and pride than hearing from these former students. They text me for advice when they fail a midterm because they know I won't judge them, to tell me that they got into medical school or that they landed a job in cancer diagnosis, research, and development. They send photos of themselves surrounded by their old AP Bio packets they took to college, or email me to say that they aced their cell bio final because of that one rap I made about eukaryotes. In Mika's case, I got a dorm room tour as well because it was my old dorm room. I'm so grateful they keep me in my lives. Seeing them thrive and knowing I had a positive influence on them is a beautiful kind of validation. It's proof that love, patience, and curiosity really do ripple outward. Lastly, I'm thankful tonight to be joined by my 2 longtime best friends who have seen me through it all and put up with my incessant chatter about school, my students, bad science jokes, and quirky science facts for decades. I'm so grateful to have lifelong friends like both of you. Yeah. Yes. This award may have my name on it, but it truly belongs not just to me, but to my students, my colleagues, and my Carpinteria community. They are the reason I go above and beyond, and I'm endlessly grateful for the chance to learn, grow, and laugh alongside them every single day. Thank you, everyone.